Welcome to Xiao Universe. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video with your friends. The world was a crucible of speculation. After the Dubai Phoenix incident, the viral fight footage, and Wang Yibo's dramatic arrest and exoneration, the narrative around him and Xiao Zhan was fractured. Was it a calculated stunt? A genuine conflict between two powerful, volatile artists? The public, desperate for answers, hung on every whispered rumor. And through it all, Wang Yibo's family remained silent, their absence a vacuum that fueled endless theories. Wang Yibo's mother, a woman who commanded respect through quiet strength and impeccable composure, felt the weight of that silence more acutely than anyone. She had navigated the treacherous waters of public life for decades, always valuing discretion and protecting her family's image. But the recent events had not just shattered an image, they had shattered her understanding of reality. Her son, her logical, precise son, had almost been lost to an illness born of emotion. And Xiao Zhan, the empathetic bard she had initially mistrusted, had been his anchor, his healer. Her world had fundamentally shifted. The catalysts for her public address were twofold. First, a particularly insidious news report surfaced, subtly implying that Xiao Zhan's unconventional methods were a danger to Yibo's health, a parasitic emotional drain on his genius. Second, and more personally, she had seen the quiet joy, the profound sense of completeness, that now radiated from Yibo when he was with Zhan in their house Chimera, a peace she hadn't witnessed in years. Her son was truly healed, truly whole, and she knew, with an unquantifiable certainty, that it was because of Zhan. The mother's heart, once ruled by logic, now beat with a fierce protective love for both of them. She announced a live, global broadcast. No press conference, no questions. Just a statement. The news sent shockwaves. The setting was not a grand stage, but a simple, elegant study within the family's ancestral home. Behind her, a single, subtly lit, intricately carved wooden screen. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan were not present. This was her truth to tell. She began with a calm, almost serene voice, her composure unwavering. For many months, she stated, my family remained silent. We watched as speculation, rumor, and even judgment swirled around my son, Wang Yibo, and his partner, Xiao Zhan. She paused, her gaze steady. We, too, were searching for understanding, for answers that defied our conventional wisdom. Then, a subtle shift occurred. As she spoke of Yibo's mysterious illness, the wooden screen behind her began to faintly shimmer. It wasn't a projector, it was a carefully calibrated manifestation of a subtle energy field, powered by the core of the newly calibrated Chimera loom, remotely activated by Yibo from their home. This was the architect's subtle backing, a visual aid for his mother's words, perceived only subconsciously by the average viewer, but powerfully by those attuned to emotional resonance. My son, she continued, her voice softening, is a man of extraordinary logic, a brilliant mind capable of creating worlds from thought. But in his pursuit of perfection, he compartmentalized. He guarded his heart. The shimmering patterns on the screen behind her began to form intricate, precise geometric shapes, cool and distant, reflecting Yibo's past. His recent illness was not a physical ailment. It was a crisis of integration. His logical mind, accustomed to order, was overwhelmed by the boundless, unquantifiable emotion he had embraced. By the profound, illogical force of love. A ripple went through the audience. This was not the narrative they expected. Then, her gaze softened even further, a profound empathy emanating from her, a testament to Zhan's subtle influence on her own emotional perception. And in that crisis, she continued, her voice almost a whisper, Xiao Zhan was there. My initial reaction, I confess, was one of fear. I saw his profound capacity for empathy, his ability to transmit emotion, as a chaotic, perhaps even dangerous, force. I saw it as a threat to my son's precise world. At this point, the shimmering patterns on the screen behind her began to subtly shift. The cool, geometric shapes softened, infused with warm, flowing hues, almost imperceptibly twisting into organic, fluid forms. This was Zhan's empathic projection made visible, not chaotic, but profoundly harmonious, a subtle, mind-blowing visual representation of how his empathy had integrated into Yibo's world. But I was wrong, she stated, her voice imbued with a newfound strength. Xiao Zhan did not come to destroy. He came to heal. He taught my son, and in turn, he taught me, that true strength lies not in suppressing emotion, but in embracing its magnificent, illogical power. He became Yibo's anchor, his guide, his other half. The chaos I feared was, in fact, the very essence of life, of connection, of love. She then shared a personal anecdote, a small, deeply intimate detail that brought tears to the eyes of viewers worldwide. When my son was ill, in that profound coma, I felt utterly helpless. My heart ached, but my mind could not grasp the depth of his suffering. I could not reach him. But then, Xiao Zhan, exhausted himself, simply sat beside him. And he sang a simple, ancient lullaby. A song I had sung to my son when he was a baby. A song Xiao Zhan had no way of knowing. The screen behind her pulsed with a warm, golden glow, and a faint, ethereal melody, like a distant whisper, seemed to fill the room, a subtle, almost subliminal audio projection from the loom, imbued with Zhan's resonant frequency. It was the lullaby. The subtle integration of this personal, mind-blowing detail with the technological projection was seamless, making her words feel like a living truth. In that moment, she confessed, her eyes glistening, I understood. It was not logic that reached my son. It was love. It was the profound, unquantifiable bond they share. Xiao Zhan did not just heal my son's mind, he healed his heart. And in doing so, he healed mine. Her voice swelled with profound conviction. Their relationship is not a weakness. It is not a scandal. It is a profound, unique bond that transcends all conventional understanding. They are the architects of a new reality, not just through their technology, but through their absolute, unwavering belief in the power of empathy and love. The screen behind her burst into a silent, shimmering image of the phoenix, their shared symbol, its wings formed from both precise geometric patterns and flowing, organic light, a stunning, mind-blowing testament to their unified power. Project Chimera City, she concluded, her gaze firm, is not just a city of advanced technology. It is a city of empathy. A city built on the principles they embody. My son and Xiao Zhan are not just partners. They are two halves of a future that embraces both logic and heart. And as a mother, I have never been more proud. The broadcast ended. The phone lines exploded. Social media erupted. Public perception shattered, then reformed into something new, awe-filled, and deeply moved. Wang Yibo's mother, once a symbol of Stoic tradition, had become the unlikely voice of a mind-blowing new paradigm of love and partnership. She had not just spoken out about their relationship, she had validated it with the deepest, most beautiful truth of all, a mother's unconditional love, now expanded to embrace a bond she once feared, but now profoundly understood. Stay tuned to Yibo Zhan Universe for updates, exclusive breakdowns, and emotional reactions as the story unfolds. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because this miracle might just be real. The world was no longer in a state of chaotic speculation. After the mind-blowing broadcast, public perception had shifted dramatically. Wang Yibo's mother, once the Stoic symbol of tradition, was now hailed as a visionary, the voice of a new paradigm of partnership. Yibo and Xiao Zhan were no longer just artists. They were pioneers, their relationship a living testament to a future where logic and emotion were not enemies, but allies. Their private life, however, remained a fortress, their house chimera a sanctuary against a world that now saw them as a public symbol. The newfound public mandate fueled their work on Chimera City. They were no longer just building a smart city, but a city with a heart, a city of empathy. Their greatest challenge lay in designing the city's central nexus, a public space meant to serve as the city's emotional core, its gathering place, its heartbeat. This couldn't be just a building, it had to be an experience, a living fusion of their unique powers. They retreated into the inner sanctum of their house chimera's loom, a space that was both a workshop and a mind-bending, infinite canvas. Yibo, his synaptic choreography at its peak, began to design the structural framework of the Nexus. With a few precise, elegant movements of his hands, a colossal, spiraling helix of cool, geometric light and sound appeared in the holographic space, its architecture a marvel of impossible physics and perfect logic. It was a beautiful, breathtaking skeleton, but it was cold, impersonal. It lacked a soul. Zhan, watching Yibo, knew his role. He extended his hand, his empathic projection flowing, and infused the structure with a core emotional purpose, a heartbeat of unity. He wove a complex, vibrant tapestry of feelings into the helix's core, the joy of shared experience, the quiet comfort of belonging, the subtle hum of collective peace. The mind-blowing spectacle unfolded as the cold, geometric framework came to life, pulsing with a soft, multicolored glow that was a physical manifestation of Zhan's empathy. The Nexus was not just a building, it was a living, breathing emotional organ for the city, a testament to the fact that their greatest creations were born from the perfect fusion of both their minds and hearts. Their work was a new, mind-blowing testament to their partnership, a symphony of their fused souls. But the most profound event was yet to come. A few days later, Yibo's mother arrived at their home, alone. She wasn't there for a casual visit. She carried an old, leather-bound book in her hands. "I finished it," she said, her voice softer than they had ever heard it. "My life story. My autobiography. But it feels incomplete. Words feel so inadequate." She looked directly at Zhan, her eyes filled with a new kind of trust, a deep, mind-blowing understanding she had never possessed before. "I've only ever given my son my love through my actions. I've only given the world my story through words. But you see beyond that. You feel the truth behind the words." She gently offered the book to him. "Will you read it for me? Not just with your eyes, but with your heart. I want you to know the truth of my story. All of it. Not just the parts one could find the words for." The room was filled with a profound silence. This was the ultimate act of trust, a mother allowing her son's partner to see into her very soul, to experience the raw, unfiltered emotional truth of her life. Zhan, with a profound sense of awe, took the book. He sat on the couch, placed his hand on the pages, and closed his eyes. What happened was a private, deeply personal, and utterly mind-blowing experience. Instead of seeing pages of text, Zhan's empathic projection activated, and he was flooded with a series of vivid emotional memories. A young girl's determined joy at a piano recital, a young woman's quiet struggle to balance career and family, a mother's fierce, protective love for her son, a mother's deep-seated fear of losing him to a world she couldn't understand, and her ultimate, mind-blowing love and acceptance of the man who had healed him. He saw her pain, her triumph, her fears, and her profound love, all in a matter of moments. He wasn't just reading her story, he was living it. It was a testament to the kind of connection that transcended all known boundaries. When he opened his eyes, he was crying, not with sadness, but with a profound, soul-deep understanding. He had not only read her story but had been given the gift of her trust, her acceptance, her entire life's journey. He looked up at Yibo's mother, her face now wet with her own tears of release, and he knew he was not just her son's partner. He was a true, cherished member of her family, a mind-blowing confirmation that their relationship was now a permanent, powerful part of their lives. The mother's trust, the Nexus project, and their strengthened bond all pointed to a new, brighter future for them and for Chimera City, a future they were now fully prepared to build together.